SN.
Welcome into the Scene Project Sports Network. This is a very special edition of CAVS Hour, a playoff edition. My name is Bubba Starts, your host, and with me always, Coach Tom Culver. Off the top, we got to give you a big congratulations. Win number 200. Couldn't have come at a better time, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a couple years ago. I was wondering if I'd ever get there, but I'm honored and blessed more than I deserve, and it's just it's kind of cool because like Dan announced the other night, there's only 2 other 9-man coaches that have reached 200 victories. I'm friends with both of them, so it's kind of neat to be in their company.
Yeah, it's like getting a green jacket, right, in golf, right, to
Yeah.
be recognized in that and to reach that level. First of all, I mean, it takes time, right? You only get so many chances every season to do it, and that means that you've got to play a lot of winning football in between there. So a big congratulations to you, Coach, and came in a huge moment. It's playoff football now.
Yeah.
The boys were facing the Gregory Gorillas, and it was a slugfest, back and forth, and a lot of adversity you guys faced in this first round matchup.
Yeah, we had 3 turnovers, which didn't help us any, but, we told the kids coming in that Gregory's going to play hard. They're a dangerous team because, if they get some confidence and get on a roll, offensively, they're, really good, but we thought, we could exploit some things defensively.
And you did. I mean, you put up over 40 points. The running game was working. Watching from home last weekend, we saw a couple of huge runs, real long ones. Once again, coming a lot from that inside running game as well, though. So still have what you do well, and it continued to be successful for you. So let's jump into the highlights. What's the first play we got here, Coach?
Okay, first play that we're going to run, it's a 17 option, and so we're coming to the left, so odd numbers are to the left here, and Madden does a good job, good play fake. They bite on the fake, and then he pitches it out to Luke for a nice 21-yard gain, and set up that play, and then it kind of works out pretty nice here. What's that doing? We'll go, I guess I could have just went forward.
Well, that option play is so dangerous because, especially as the season's gone on, Madden's become a lot more of a threat, both in the run and the pass game.
Let me go back. Let me get this. All right. So on the last play, we ran a 17 option to the left. Now, what we're doing is this is a counter tray, and we're faking that option because you're going to see Luke come out here to the left. Fullback is going this way. We got backside guard and these 2 guys right there that are pulling. And Major takes a step, gets the ball up, and we're pulling. He finds a gap and goes all the way into the end zone. And there was a few plays like that the other night, like the finish of that, where with Luke, with Major, and some of the other guys, that they drug players into the end zone. Calvin came in after Luke got hurt, and the touchdown he scored, I think he was contacted at like the 3 or 4 yard line and drug like 3 or 4 guys into the end zone. So, and we'll see that here in a little bit too, but
this has got to be a nightmare for a linebacker to try and defend this. You have someone like Isaiah who's so powerful in those, and almost every play starts off with either a fake or it's going right to Isaiah, right? That fullback dive. So you have to be conscious of that immediately. And then you have 2 guys with serious wheels and hard runners behind him with Major and Luke back here, and later on I know Calvin will be in the game as well. But now, like I said, Madden's become quite a threat in both the run and passing game too. Yeah. It's making you guys really dangerous on the offensive end and very hard to defend.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we're hoping. And like on this play here, I can go in slow motion. Once they see this dive fake going this way, these linebackers, what it does is it causes them to take a step or 2 to the right, and then that allows like our guys that are down blocking to get to them easier. And so I can just play this slowly, and you'll see them kind of, oh, they go to the right. Well, now they're in the traffic. Now they can't get through. And so now you've got...
That's an underrated little shimmy there by Major in the hole to get just a half a step on this guy, right? Because otherwise he's back here. It may still be a first down, but it's not a touchdown. But that little shimmy opens him up and gives him enough space to turn the Jets on and to get all the way into the end zone.
Yeah, he did a really good job there of finding that. This is going to be an 18 option, but Madden's going to hand it off because, you know, what'll happen, you know, and we told these guys to communicate with each other. And like Isaiah said, okay, the last option we ran, nobody even paid any attention to him, hardly. So on this play, Madden is going to hand it off to him. So we're going to the right. All right, we get here, and then he gets through the hole, and then he makes a cut. Why did it stop? And so we've got, I think it's a 45-yard gain.
Off a fullback dime, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I know it's the option play, but off an inside run to be able to generate 45 yards of offense is impressive. And great that the boys are talking in there and going, hey, man, they're keying on this outside run now because it's been working. Let's sneak one of these in. And I know Isaiah had another long run going the other way later on in the game, too.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the stats for the season and see what he's averaging, but it's got to be pretty good. And then a little later, this is what we call a 42 ISO. So, and basically what that means, we're isolating our fullback and guard, right guard here, on D tackle and linebacker. So because of angles, our guard is going to come out and get that linebacker right there. And then our fullback is going to kick out that defensive tackle who's down in a 3-point stance on that side. And then Luke is going to follow right up behind. And this is a touchdown that Luke scored. Thankfully, he got one in his last home game before he got hurt. But so you can see he had the ball covered up. And again, the guy contacted him outside the end zone, but he still got in because of the momentum.
Yeah, and that's just straight power run. Not a lot of trickery there. It's we're going to line up, we're going to put a hat on a hat, and we're going to pound this thing right down the throat of the defense and into the end zone.
Yeah. Our next one here is, some people probably wonder, was this called? And so it ends up being a quarterback sneak, but I've told quarterbacks anytime that, you know, if it's 3rd and 15, not a good time. But if it's like it's 1st and goal here at the 4, and, you know, if you think you can get 3, 4, 5 yards on a quarterback sneak, tap the center on the rear end so he knows that he's going out and get linebacker. And
there's nobody in front of him, right? I mean, they're looking at it and going, man, they can just ride him right in there, piggyback style, and score here.
Yeah, so, and that's what happens. He tapped him, and anyway, they're going, and he just follows. He blows the safety up, and easily goes into the end zone. So
now, was this after the long run? Maybe it wasn't. There was one after.
It was another series.
Okay.
I think I have.
And the game was fairly close here. I mean, they came down on their first 2 offensive possessions and scored as well, it looked like. So it was a little back and forth there. That first half was a lot of back and forth. And you had mentioned that their quarterback had gotten hurt and concussed at some point in the game here. So
yeah, and that happened. So here's the one with I believe this is the one with Calvin. Oops, hit the right button, I'll be all right. All right, so let me just full screen. Okay, this is just going to be a lead left. So we're going through here. End is blocking down to linebackers or D linemen, whoever's in his path. This is right before halftime. Calvin Saba is going to get the ball, and what happens is Isaiah kicks out the defensive end, and Major leads up the hole. And you're going to see here, Calvin did a great job. I know it's inside the 5. It's probably about the 3 or so. He first gets contact right there at the 5.
Not stopping. That's a hard run.
Yeah.
That's a hard run. And for a young man that necessarily not getting a lot of playing time this year, I know that you've had moments where some of these younger guys have gotten in, but a huge confidence builder for him, because it sounds like you're going to need him this week when you play in round 2.
Yeah. We'll see. We had practice on Friday, and Luke was better, and he just has kind of a sore hip, so hopefully he'll be all right. But Calvin's been playing on defense all year, doing a good job there, and the nice thing, as coaches, we always tend to look ahead sometimes too, and we know that we're probably Luke's going to graduate, we're going to miss him, but I think Calvin will do a pretty good job if he gets stronger and faster by next year. I think our backfield is going to be pretty lethal. So let me see if this is one of the team ones. No. Because the kids can go in and make their own highlight video here too. So that's what's happened on some of these.
Well, and who doesn't love making highlights off of a big playoff win and showing potential college coaches what you can do, and in a big moment and a big game, being able to go out there and perform, it means a lot.
Yeah, and that's the thing that at the beginning of the year, I tell some of these kids to do, make a highlight video, because if you improve now, when you nominate a kid for all conference, all state, they want. Coaches want to see highlight videos, and so this is a way that you can do that, and then plus for college coaches and stuff. But as you can see from the yard markers over there, we're 1st and 20. We had a holding call, and we threw a screen pass to the left to Major. We call it, he's the 3-back, so a 3-screen left. So the ends are gonna take off downfield to occupy safeties. Our linemen are going to block for 2 counts and then let their guy go and go down and try to block linebackers. And Major's going to hit the guy rushing. He's going to float out here, and Madden's looking downfield. Then he's going to turn and throw it. So this is for people who don't think we pass, we do once in a while. So
no, and it's such a big timing play there too, because Madden has to let those guys get upfield to him, right? Yeah. He's got to be able to, and it takes a lot of poise to stand back there, and it's pretty wild that you can see on tape how much more mature he is as a quarterback now compared to that first or second game of the season. Right? There's a lot more poise, and he's a lot calmer in the pocket and seeing the field a lot differently. I know he had an interception in this game that was disappointing, I'm sure, but also he was chucking it 25 yards down the field, right? It didn't hurt you necessarily in the moment. But
no. I'll go show you, and I'll freeze it here at the right time. All right, so you can see here's 3 linemen coming at him. Here's a linebacker too that went with Isaiah just to make sure. And we've got engaged here. We got another lineman coming down. We got our other lineman that's looking at backside linebacker that's going to him. So, I mean, and you can see he didn't, on that backside, he didn't do like a big block. He just got in his way, and that's really all he had to do. So I think, it was 2nd and 20. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 6. That's a little more manageable to get because of that play. And then on this same series, again, a pass play. So we'll go ahead and play it here if it loads like it should. There we go. All right, on this one, so we ran, what we call a counter blast, where we'll fake fullback to the right, backs going to the left. Well, we'll do that, and we ran that a few times the other night. And so then what we're going to do is, this is a pass play out of it. And so our fullback is going to hit this defensive end, go out in the flat. End is running what we call a 7 route or a corner route, and the left end is running a post down the middle, and you'll see he throws it to Caden, and he is wide open in the end zone. Fake, coming around. Guy goes with Isaiah.
Lot of hands on the defense going, what happened? Well, it doesn't take but a step.
Yep. See, the linebacker is going with Isaiah and so what happened is then he didn't realize that Caden ran right by him, and so now we've got a guy wide open in the back of the end zone for
and for Madden, nice to get now a playoff passing touchdown under his belt, and to build this confidence. Like I said, young man, sophomore, he's going to carry these experiences, and even though it's just the first round of the playoffs, you went out there and performed. The offense did very well, but the defense made some big plays too. And maybe it wasn't a big play, but it was a lot of, that just was suffocating this defense, especially in the second half. After their quarterback goes out, you take their 6'6", receiver off the, out of the receiving spot and have to put him back there at quarterback. It kind of changed everything that Gregory had to do on offense.
Yeah, and and there was one play I think it was in the fourth quarter. Yeah, because based on the direction they were going. But their quarterback, I'll bet you he scrambled and dropped back and was way at the one sideline over 30 yards back, just trying to get away. Well, if you're 30 yards back, unless you've got a cannon for an arm, you're not getting it to anybody. And
because even if you throw it 20 yards, you're still 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And I think that happened to the one play where he does get the ball away. The guy catches it, makes a little bit, forward progress, but it's still,
Yeah, when you're way back behind the line of scrimmage. So, but.
Well, that also comes from his inexperience playing quarterback. Yes, you are the backup quarterback, but you've been a receiver most of the year, and to have to get put in that position late in the game, it's a tough thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, that's for sure. The last couple I have here, and this is, again, that lead that we ran that Calvin scored on. These guys are all blocking down to their left. Isaiah's kicking out. Back leading up the hole, and Major found an alley to get through and then made a cut. And see, they're starting to blitz linebacker, so he found that alley and did that little kind of shuffle cut there and got through it.
He turns on those afterburners once he sees green grass in front of him. A very patient run there. You got to let that develop. A lot of bodies up on the line of scrimmage. There's 12 to 15 bodies in that 5-yard space. You have to let things develop, but it doesn't take him much to get through there. And then once he's through, it's off to the races. And even stride of the 6'6" safety wasn't enough to catch him.
Yeah, he did a great job of being very patient there.
Well, and this was right after, I do believe, that you guys have gotten the ball back probably. They had done an onside kick after they had scored that, kind of bounced off of Isaiah, it looked like there, and they called it a fumble. I don't know how you call it a fumble in that moment, right? But they had been turning the tide. The momentum felt like it could shift, and on the sidelines of that, the defense showed up, got another stop, turned them over on downs, I'm pretty sure, and then it was shortly thereafter that you're pounding the ball in again and to get that breathing room back.
Yeah, and this play there, that was a one-play drive for a touchdown. And we were kind of thinking, like, as coaches, you think, it'd been nice if we'd went like 7-8 plays and scored.
Right.
But one, and then they get the ball back right away. But then we had another play kind of similar. And this is a second down play. It's 2nd and 8, and we run a sweep. So it's a toss sweep to the right to Major again. And I'll kind of show you, freeze it here a couple times. So first of all, you can see if we get things slowed down here, they're in a 5 front, plus they're blitzing linebacker. But, if everybody does the line blocking rules that I have, if everybody makes a step, somebody should be taking him. because this backside, we know we're going this way. We don't have to worry about him over there. If he's making a play, then we can do stuff to take advantage of that. But so he's coming up. He does get through. All right, so you can see, I'll go back just a hair and freeze it. Okay, so what we talked about at halftime, these guys, that outside linebacker was coming up out fast. So Calvin does a good job of engaging him, taking him that way. Isaiah's looking inside at the other linebacker coming across, and Isaiah's able to pick a hole there, and he gets through there, and then he makes the cut on 12, and he scores. So I think that was our last score. So, but a good job by those guys. We were lucky to get the ball off, because I mean they're sending people, and they already created one turnover.
Yeah, on a play very similar to that, where he jumped through and got to Madden before he had a chance to pitch the ball out and created a fumble. And like I said, you guys faced some adversity. You had the 3 turnovers. The onside kick that they kicked. Like there was times where the momentum could have shifted, and we didn't get a lot of defensive highlights because it was just suffocating. It wasn't necessarily a big play. It was doing the right things, driving them back. This team wants to pass the ball. They couldn't get anything going really on the run game.
Right.
So they were kind of forced into playing from behind and throwing the ball. And like you said, the kid's dropping back 20 yards in the backfield, and guys are chasing them down, whether it turns into an incomplete pass or it's a long sack. You really had them behind the sticks on defense the entire game.
Yeah, and it's tiring for the defenders, and a lot of people don't realize that. I think we've talked about this before. We have the same amount of eligible receivers that 11-man does, but we have 2 less defenders, and so it puts, in 9-man football, it does put a lot of pressure if you're a very good, efficient passing team, but some it's kind of hard, because if you're at a Division I college and you're playing quarterback or wide receiver, that's all you're doing. You may be a punt returner or kickoff returner on the side, but you have one basic job, and so that's all you can practice. And they have the time. We've got kids that got to play multiple positions, both offense and
there's probably 3 or 4 kids that don't come off the field or more, right? I know Isaiah's on both sides of the field, plus he's your punter and your kicker.
Yeah.
But there's others that are out there playing every single down of the game, and very rarely coming out for a blow. They get a break. God bless these kids, because I watched one of those runs that either Major or Calvin or Luke made, and I would have been gasping for air on the sidelines the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was tough, and the defensive linemen, they were sucking air, and rightfully so. I mean, if you're chasing a guy around, he's running from side to side, running backwards, play after play after play. I mean, it's hard, and usually you would think for the offensive guy, it's not very wise strategy to keep retreating and going back and back and back. It has to tire out the linemen and stuff, but then you got to throw the ball up long ways just to get it across the line.
Yeah, there's really nothing to be gained from it if you're not moving the sticks and you're not moving the ball down the field. So, awesome. Any more highlights from this game that we want to look at, Coach?
That's about the only other thing that. Let me go back toward the beginning. This is first time we did this all year. It's 4th and about 5, and we're just, it's probably long 4 or whatever, and you can see the 50-yard line right here. So we haven't done this at all, but this will give somebody else scouting this, give Parkston something to think about.
Yeah. Now, does that play into the decision in the moment a little bit too, of saying, hey, let's put something on tape here that we haven't done all year? Now you're down in distance, the score of the game matters, all of these things play into account. But when given the opportunity to make it an easy decision because you had not necessarily put it on tape.
Yeah, and part of it, knowing that, they were moving the ball, and it was, I think it was a 7-6 at the time, and or no, nobody had scored yet. It was, and so we're thinking, oh, this is our very first series, I guess, and we thought our philosophy is, yeah, it gives some people something to look at, but it's also, we want to try to score first if possible, because I think that kind of puts a little pressure on the other team, like, oh my gosh, they scored already on their first series, we better get in gear. And then sometimes, you can panic or, make decisions that you probably wouldn't normally. But what happens here is we have a call, and I'm not going to say it here in case anybody outside is watching, and it snapped up to Major, and we're actually running an option. Coach Van Winkle came up, is responsible for special teams, and he came up with this. So Major's got the option to run it, or you'll see Isaiah coming behind him. Isaiah's pitchman on an option, and Major's on the right. This is Peyton, and he blocks this kid here, and kicks him out, and that allows Major to make the play. And he gets up there, gets 7 yards, and first down, and we keep the drive alive. So
Yeah, incredible and a great start. Once again, the special teams continues to be a weapon for you guys on both sides. I know we talked about the onside kick a little bit that they tried in the moment. Probably surprised you a little bit. It wasn't necessarily, I guess, not unheard of, right? That they needed to do something to try and steal a possession. But those are going to be tough. I mean, the kid, it seemed like he just kind of booted it straight at him. Things happen, right? You only have 9 men out there to try and field one of these things. So
yeah, we have 4 guys up front, and we had talked about it. Coaches,
but it's not like they lined up in a traditional onside kick kind of formation. It was a little bit of a surprise, but something that you have to be ready for.
Yeah, and I know Isaiah was telling the front guys, move in, be ready just in case, because I mean, at the time of the game, like I said, they had scored, had a little momentum, and I think they realized that they weren't having much success stopping us. Really the only possessions that we didn't score on were the ones that we stopped ourselves.
Right.
A fumble and those 2 interceptions. So, and those are things that obviously play into coaches' minds, where you say, if we don't do something, we might not get the ball back. And if they get the ball back, they're probably going to march down and score, because they didn't stop us on any possession.
Incredible. So looking forward, we got Parkston in round 2 of the playoffs. That game's going to be in Parkston on Thursday again this week.
Yes.
Another Thursday game, a little out of the routine, but the boys, I'm sure, are used to it now. We know they run that wing, and they're going to do what they're going to do, right? Yeah. They're going to run the ball. They're going to bring a heavy set to that. What and we know that they kind of stuck it to you guys in Parkston during the season. So what is there that can be done, and what kind of motivation do you find for the guys this week as you're moving through practice and up into the game?
Well, a couple things that excuse me, we told them the other night, and I gave them the example, what I was telling you earlier. My first year as a head coach, when I was at Wakanda Gable-Vollen, we got beat fairly handily by Garrettson. And then second round of the playoffs, we went to Garrettson and ended up beating them 27-26. And so anything's possible playoff time, And we told them we don't have anything to lose. Everybody's expecting them to win. And, I know Coach Koch has some, and Van Winkle, we talked the other day, and, some ideas defensively that we're going to do differently. And, I just told the kids, we believe in you, you got to believe in yourselves. And, the only thing we can ask is that you come and play as hard as you can and see what happens.
Yeah, play with your hair on fire the
Right.
entire time and give it everything that you got. Nothing is a given in this game, and especially when it comes down to playoff football. It's going to be a lot colder than it was when you guys played that first time. That makes all the hits sting a little bit harder, makes that ball a little bit harder, maybe a little more slippery, maybe if there's any weather. I know we have rain in the forecast for this week, maybe not necessarily on Thursday night, but we're in South Dakota. That weather could change with the minutes as we go through.
Well, it could turn to the white stuff too. You never know about that. So, I mean, a lot of similar styles. I guess not necessarily style, but philosophy on trying to play great defense and run the ball, and that's what Parkston's been able to do. And you just gotta, because what if it's them that has 3 or 4 turnovers? And we have a short field and we score, and then all of a sudden they're getting a little tenser, and you never know what's going to happen because they're high school kids, and they try their hardest and they do their best, but sometimes things just don't go like you want them to. So you just gotta give it the best shot and see what happens.
Well, and I think that's why this game against Gregory and the adversity that you did face was kind of good, and to come out where you still won by 20 points, even facing the turnovers and losing the onside and just everything that you faced in this game, to be able to show up then and to overcome it. I think that's a huge confidence builder for the team and for a pretty young team in not a lot of experience out there, and even on the coaching staff. I know Austin and Coach Van Winkle, Coach Koch, they're pretty young in their coaching careers as well. So maybe the first time that they're seeing things against Parkston in that first game, that now they're able to watch that tape, but I'm sure they've been watching it since Thursday night and getting themselves prepared. But I hope to see the boys show up and really play well, and to come home with win number 201 for you, Coach Culver, and in a big spot there.
Yeah, it'd be neat for those kids, because it would be a big confidence booster, and especially going into next year. I think between us and Parkston will probably be 2 of the favorites next year, and so if we can win that game, and even if we happen to come out in the short end, but we have a chance. I mean, that's all you can ask for. You have a chance, and I think that would be a big confidence booster for our kids, and like I told them the other day, this whole season, the team every year, I do my best. Right, this is about them, and not about me. And I've been lucky to have a lot of great players, great kids that I've got the opportunity to coach, some guys to work with. Austin and Jared are at the top of the list on that. They're great guys, and looking back, not done yet, but looking back, it's just humbling to see how things have transpired over the years.
Yeah. Well, and this season, no different. There's been a lot of growth from what we've seen here on the show and watching the tape every week. And they look more like men now, where some of them, they looked like boys starting out. Very, very young men, right? I mean, some of these guys can't even drive a car yet, so they're out there playing ball. And to now, just like I said, you see the poise in Madden, you see the cuts that Major is making inside of these little holes, the experience they've gained this year. I think they should have all the confidence in the world going up there to Parkston. We want to encourage all the Bon Home fans to get up to Parkston and support the boys. Thursday night, 7 o'clock start, yes. Coach? 7 o'clock start in Parkston. It's round 2 of the playoffs. It's win or go home. So make sure you get out, support our Cavs, continue to support this show and everything that we're doing here. Coach, I want to thank you so much. If this is our last one of the season, I hope we get to do a little bit of a recap. I'll have a few weeks off here, but we will look forward to continuing to do this and to talk ball with you and to support these young men as they move through their football careers.
Well, I appreciate it. I like anytime I can get a chance to talk about these guys, I'm happy to do that. They're good kids, really good kids, and they're a joy to be around. So if I can brag them up and show the good things that they do, I'm happy to do that.
Fantastic. Well, we got a lot of that this season, a ton of great highlights, 6 or 7 episodes that we got to do of this show that completely on a whim. I'm glad you said yes in the gym that day and in the weight room, and I really appreciated getting to share these moments with you and to highlight these amazing student athletes here in Bon Homme County.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. And for everyone else, thank you for tuning in to the Scene Project Sports Network. We will see you next week, hopefully supporting and celebrating another Cavaliers win.
SPSN.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community. Got an ocean full of love that's made for two. We sail upon the ocean breeze and sunshine.